What's going on YouTube? WestHobbiesRC. So today we are back with another Goblin RAW 580 build. This build is for Andrew. So Andrew, thank you very much for letting me build this model for you. So we're just gonna do an overview style build video because we already have a step-by-step build video on the 580. So if you are building one for the first time, you can go back and look at all those videos. But just give you a rundown on what we're running. Of course, Pulse 6S 5000 milliamp pack, Hobby Wing 120, of course, X-Nova motor, just like on the other 580s. We're running 4025 1Y 1120 kV shaft B, SRXL2 for Spectrum. We have our torque servo grommets. Of course, gotta run the torque servo grommets and the torque servos. I will link these grommets in the description because people ask me all the time. You're going to need 3 of the mini set and 1 of the full size set. So of course, torque servos. We got the BL0704T on tail and the CL1208 on cyclic. It's an incredible servo combo right here. All this helicopter needs. Awesome servos. Great price, great combo. And of course, a Spectrum DSMX satellite. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing open. The only thing we're waiting on is an icon, and like everybody knows, they are out of stock everywhere. So let's get everything open and let's start this build. Ahead, got the transmission assembly done. We got our pulleys on. Everything is spaced with shims, Loctited, greased. We got our servos mounted. We got our torque servo grommets in place. Screws are Loctited. Again, I'm going to link these guys in the description, those little grommets, if you guys want them, because I know a lot of you ask. We got our servos 90 degrees with the torque box. So if you guys haven't seen the video I made on this thing, check it out. If you're going to be using torque servos, highly recommend it. I'll link this in the description too. Went ahead and used the little carbon fiber template. So now we're going to move on to the lower frame sides and get this thing on its skids. Got the lower frame sides on, skids, everything's tightened down, measured 1 inch from the back to the tip of the skid. Everything is Loctited in the way that it should be. So now went ahead and already soldered up the motor bullets. So if you can see here, soldered up, they are the motor bullets that come with the actual X-Nova motor. So now I'm going to grab everything we need to start on the motor mount, get the motor mounted, get the motor belt on, and get ready to start soldering up the ESC. Got the motor mounted, got the belt on and tensioned. We got the ESC mounted like on the other 580 build. We had to drill 2 new holes for the 120. It bolts into the back, but then it's not long enough to reach the front, so I'm pretty sure that's for a 130 HV or a 150. But drilled 2 new holes. We got our bullet connector soldered up. Everything's connected. So now we're going to go ahead and get started on the tail. Is all finished up. Got the boom, belt on, tail assembly. Everything is smooth and free like it should be. Got the decal on, green on one side, orange on the other to match the main frame. Green on the left, orange on the right. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the boom blocks in the main frame here. Get the boom slid in, get the belt on, and then we can continue moving on. We got the boom on, belt is tensioned, everything is going the correct way. So head spins clockwise, tail spins counterclockwise, motor spins like it should. We got the EC5 soldered up because we are running EC5s on this. We got the bullet connectors done. So everything on the ESC is done. We got the battery tray. We do have to run 1 wire for telemetry, but we'll do that when we start wiring this model. So now we're going to go ahead and get the FBL mount and everything done. And then unfortunately, we have to let it sit and wait until icons come back in stock. But lucky for you guys, it'll be in a second in this video. We're about to start the FBL mount and canopy mounts. Just remember, if you guys haven't seen my 580 build video, Loctite but no pliers on these guys. And if you are going to use an SRXL2 and a satellite, I always like to put this little plate in, and I always like to run the rubber mounts. Now, you can hard mount your FBL unit. That's personal choice, but I like the rubber mounts, give it a little bit of vibration. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy assembled, and we'll see. Now we got our FBL mount and receiver mount assembled. Now, remember, there is 2 locations you can mount. So you can put it here, and this is considered the front location. And then you can put it here, and this is considered the rear location. Because we are putting our SRXL2 and our DSMX satellite here, I am going to go ahead and mount it to the rear location just to help get it out and away from the antennas. We're going to go antennas down, get it away from the canopy and the carbon fiber. So you do need to assemble your canopy cups. Now, you're going to have lock nuts and regular screws. So the reason you have the lock nuts is depending on the location. So if you mount it in this back one, then you're just going to use your screws. But if you mount it in the forward location, then your canopy mount is going to go through one screw there and a lock nut on the back side there. But so we're going to move this to the back. Don't need lock nuts. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done and start mounting our SRXL2 and DSMX satellite. Mounting the DSMX satellite underneath here, we want the antenna to go straight back. When you purchase your satellite, the antennas always come out the side. So you take the 2 Phillips screws out the back, take the case apart, and you can rotate the antenna just like this. You pick it up, you just carefully push it over, push it down. And then I like to take a little screwdriver and just make sure that the antenna itself is actually pushed in and locked. And then you go ahead and put your case back together. Our antenna goes straight out the top. So when it is mounted, it goes out the back. Just that simple. So while we were waiting for icons to come back in stock, unfortunately, they were not back in stock yet. So we went ahead and purchased a Bavarian Demon Axon. So I have never used one of these before. This will be my very first time playing with it, using it, setting it up. I have already opened it. Now, it is a very quality made fly barless unit. It is an aluminum case, all CNC'd out, very quality, anodized red. So I'm excited to play with it. I've already plugged it in. I've done some reading and whatnot. I went ahead and printed the instruction manual right from their website. So I have everything to go by, figure everything out. Again, I have not tried this yet. So I'm going to go ahead and start wiring this helicopter up. Again, SRXL2, DSMX satellite on the bottom. The Axon does support SRXL2 as well as DSMX satellite. There's 2 DSMX ports, and SRXL2 plugs into, I believe, A or B. Don't quote me though, I'll have to double check on that. So I'm going to get the laptop, get this plugged in, do some figuring out, and let's see what this does. All right, so we got the Axon mounted, double-sided tape. You guys know the deal, clean both surfaces, rubbing alcohol. So we have everything mounted that we need. So now it's time to start figuring servos and running wires. My one complaint about the Axon that I really wish was different was I wish the servo pins came out the back. It just looks as a much cleaner install, but we'll make it clean, we'll make it work. Now, another big thing that's different from the Axon than like an Icon or whatnot. SAB will tell you that you have servo 1, servo 2, servo 3. But that's not the case with Axon. There's only one way to do it. 1, 2, and 3. So the servo setup is a little different for wiring. So servo 1, servo 2, servo 3. And that's going to go into your 1, 2, 3 port. And then 4 is for a 4th cyclic servo. So it's a little confusing. 4 is not used. 5 is tail servo. 6 is throttle. And of course, governor is that top back port. And then port B is going to be your serial satellite like an SRXL. Your DSMX satellite is going to go into the side here where there is 2 satellite ports. And then an open port like A or C will be for your BEC power line. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to get all those wires covered in heat shrink, and ready to start making this thing look like a total together model. So far we got all the wires covered in heat shrink, got everything ran back to where we need it. We haven't started shortening anything yet. Tail servo wire there. We still have to make up the wire from the SRXL2 to the actual FBL unit itself. So now it's going to be figuring out how I want to run them. Of course, there's going to be a junction piece here that ties all these wires together. So they're probably going to come up and over into the top here. So I'm going to figure all that out, and then we'll see what this thing looks like all finished wired. So I went ahead and got the Axon all set up, got it done through the software. Super easy, very simple. But I will say I'm not a fan. So there's a lot you can't do with the Axon. It's a very simple FBL unit. It's not bad whatsoever, but you can't even get simple things like telemetry. And with running a hobby wing, telemetry is very important. With Spectrum, telemetry is not there. If you're running Jetty, you can get telemetry. So if you're running Jetty, the Axon is a great FBL unit for that purpose. So we decided back with an Icon. They came back in stock, got to my door. So we're going to pull the Axon off, throw the Icon on, rewire the helicopter, finish all of it up, get it set up and ready to fly. So we went ahead, got the Icon in. We got all of our wiring done, tidied up. Everything is looking great. 2mm bullet connector so we can pull the fan if need be. Pulse 6S5000 EC5 connectors. You guys already know SRXL2. We got everything set up to the radio, so all telemetry is working like it should. We have battery consumption. Brain 2 setup, so if we have to do any adjusting, we can do it right from the radio, which is nice. So now I'm going to make up the rudder push rod, get that epoxied together, and get the blades thrown on this thing, and we'll be ready to fly. So we got the tail push rod done. Of course, you guys already know I don't like to use CA on these push rods. I like to epoxy them. So epoxy it, you know, already know the deal. Sand it, scuff it up, epoxy it together so we get a good strong bond. So we got our 2 to 4 degrees of right rudder at 90 degrees. So our tail is mechanically set up properly. We already went through, set all the endpoints, set adjustments. So we got no binding, no nothing. Set our collective plus and minus 13 degrees. Pulse 6S5000 EC5 connectors, Hobby Wing 120, X Nova motor, torque cyclic, torque tail, Icon FBL unit, SRXL2. Best setup for the 6S class on the 580. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Quick little overview build. It's all done up. We got everything wired. We got our fabric paint holding down our servo connectors. Everything is as clean as I could possibly make it. So I am super happy with this build. Andrew, I hope you are happy with it. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this little video. Do me a favor, give this video a like, subscribe, take care, and have a great day.